What is something that your generation did that no younger generation will ever get to experience? Listening to your sister talking to her crush on the phone with the other wired phone. Play video games without being able to Google what to do next. Edit. I'm watching my kid play Mario 3 and Zelda. Saving after everything and finding all the items. Can't tell if I'm mad or jealous. Experience the transition from dial-up to high-speed internet. Holy crap. Downloading stuff for an hour then getting cut off at 99% because some idiot decided to pick up the phone. Rewinding movies in the VCR. And then having a whole separate appliance to rewind them slightly faster. Burn a CD. I used to spend hours strategically picking 16-20 songs to listen in the car that month on my way to school. Watch MTV when it showed nothing but music videos, artist interviews and concert footage. Remembering your friends' phone numbers in your head. I can still remember a handful of phone numbers from friends when I was a kid. And having to wait to see if the pictures you took came out actually turned out okay. Edit. Forgot a word Zosa. Wait outside the closed school for your mom to pick you up with no way to contact her. You start thinking if she doesn't come, you will have to assimilate yourself with the other street orphans and try to survive. The total joy when the Sears toy catalog came out before Christmas. All the stupid shit we all do in high school. Without social media to commemorate it forever. Call a parent collect just to hurry up and say what you needed when prompted to leave your name. You have a collect call from hey mom pick me up from the mall. Roller skating as a mainstream activity. Large, dimly lit rink with smoke machines, lights, and a disco ball. Refreshments sold, including food, soft drinks, and even beer for the adults. An arcade section. Tons of people there. Loud 80s synth pop. And everything was decorated in earth tones. Being not available. Before mobile phones. If you wanted to talk to someone you had to find a landline. And hope they were actually in. Or go round their house. Now. It's all instant messaging in its many forms. With the sender expecting an instant reply. On the same theme. I miss not having clearly defined working hours. Back then, if you wanted to talk to me about work stuff, you'd have to do it on Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 6 PM. Now, I get work emails and phone calls every day of the week. 24 hours a day. People seem to have lost that sense of boundary, and seem to think it's okay to pester me at 8 PM on a Sunday night. Get away with tons of shenanigans in college because there weren't cameras everywhere. Playground rumors myths in video games. I feel like they still exist, but to a much smaller degree. Only thing from recent memory I can think of is Herobrine from Minecraft. But back in the day, man, every game you played had like 6 rumors surrounding it. Secret codes, weapons, levels, you name it. Shit like Mew hiding under the truck in the old Pokemon games. The fabled code to make Lara Croft naked. Bigfoot hiding in the woods in GTA. San Andreas. The secret cow level from Diablo. The list goes on. Calling movie phone late at night so your friends could call you without your home phone ringing. Having to call your crush's home phone and their parents answering. Embarrassing bonus when you don't know they're a junior. So when you ask for them by name, you get a reply speaking. Not being able to use the phone while on the internet, purposely pissing your siblings off by picking up the phone while they're on the internet. Calling your parents from a payphone to come pick you up when your movie was over. Rent movies from a store. Edit. Thanks to all the folk who praised Family Video and local stores. Give them your business and keep them going. Saturday morning cartoons. Most everything is online now, and even if the choice wasn't available, there are entire channels dedicated to cartoons all day. Every day. There's no kid today waking up at 6 AM to watch Saturday morning cartoons when the internet sits there as an ever expanding library of entertainment. Putting up an away message on AIM so the people you didn't want to talk to wouldn't message you, while still continuing to talk to others. Or really, just the concept of being away and unable to be reached at all. Edit. I get that there are services that still have an away setting. I'm referring to the fact that when you were away from the computer, you were truly away. There was no expectation that anyone could get in touch with you until you came back. Now, everyone carries phones around, and while it's possible to make yourself unavailable, it's not the norm. And it's probably something later generations will have a hard time understanding. The smell of freshly mimeographed worksheets in elementary school. Edit. There seems to be some discussion over whether I was describing mimeograph or ditto. I went to 3 elementary schools in 2 states and heard them described using both terms. I looked them up and there are differences in the process, but the concept and the results are very similar. Taking our bikes out in the morning. Being gone all day and then being home again when the streetlights came on. We would just spend all day exploring the trails across town and hanging out by the creek. It's definitely some of my fondest memories of being a kid. Some of the tapes I made are 50 years in my past, but I still remember the playlist order. Today I'll hear a song on the radio that I recorded back then and expect the next song as it was on my playlist. Crazy. Take a roll of film in to get developed. Youth today will never know the satisfaction of hearing the subtle snap sound of taking a flash photo with a disposable camera, or the excitement and anticipation of waiting for your roll of film to get developed to see if the pics you took were any good or not. Experience the chaos that was Kazaa and Limua. P2P file sharing like that was such a gamble all the time. I remember looking up an artist I liked and seeing a song name I didn't recognize and downloading it with excitement only to realize that it either was a song by another band or a song I already knew but the person just gave a different name. Movies was an even bigger gamble because a lot of the time you would end up with porn instead of the movie you wanted. It was the Wild West days of internet pirating and you just never knew what to expect. Downloading porn pics on dial-up internet. The suspense as it slowly loaded the pics from top down was exhilarating. Literally took about 2 minutes per picture. After a while though it was tedious. You literally got to a point where you were like FCK it. Where is the target catalage? Finish off on the lingerie section. Get tangled up in the phone cord while trying to talk on the phone in the kitchen. Change a typewriter ribbon. You have died of dysentery. In green text. Renting video games at Blockbuster. To an 8-year-old. That row of Nintendo and Sega games was like Dorothy entering Oz for the first time. Having to write papers without the help of the internet. 4 hours blank VHS tapes. You tape some film that was on TV. And then some time later, you find out some other film is going to be showing and you want to record that. How do you figure out how much time is left on the tape? Math? Nope. You look out the window and the little notches will tell you how much time is left on the tape. Those were the days. Being able to go into the cockpit of a commercial airline and have the pilot show you the controls. Save files and information on a floppy disk. The ones they gave us at school were always bright yellow or red. Wait hours days for the opportunity to watch porn on the single family computer in the household. Leave the house and not be trackable. Parents now have location sharing apps and GPS in cars. My best high school memories were made when my parents thought I was somewhere else. The period when the internet was not a thing and then a fairly big thing. The rise of mobile phones etc. Growing up with the before and after is quite interesting. Remember those cassettes? It happens that the band gets out of its case. So fixing it with a pencil. Gifting mixtapes as a sincere symbol of friendship. Camp out overnight for concert tickets. Playing with mercury from a broken thermometer. I wonder if that's why I get short-term memory loss sometimes. Playing with mercury from a broken thermometer. I wonder if that's why I get short-term memory loss sometimes. Playing with mercury from a broken thermometer. when rolling up the window literally meant rolling up the window. Calling the time and temperature phone number. That was the second phone number I ever memorized. After my own. Rewind a cassette tape by spinning it on a pencil so as to save batteries. Or flipping the tape over in your fake Walkman and fast forwarding. Then flipping the tape back over because your fake Walkman doesn't have an actual rewind button. This may date me, but having my girlfriend sitting next to me on a bench seat in my vehicle while I'm driving. Good times. I like bucket seats, but I miss the closeness. Needing to switch between video games and TV. Connect to the internet via dial-up. Staying up late to watch Girls Gone Wild commercials. Cabinet style TV sets listening to that Barbara Bush story hour on the radio with the Muppets on Friday night while eating at a drive-in. Calling time and temperature, being able to float a check on Friday for money and hoping your check deposited showed up Monday to cover it lol. Though we'll never know the feeling of saying to yourself, gee, I wonder whatever happened so and so in the 3rd grade, and then just shrugging your shoulders and moving on with your day. You know they're gonna look that up. Carrying multiple 160 pounds TVs to a friend's to play 16-player Halo in the same room. Just show up at the park or playground to see if any of your friends were there to hang out. No texts. No phone calls. No kind of previous arrangement whatsoever. It's just something you'd do if you were bored. Also, watching porn on a dial-up connection. I wouldn't wish that to my worst enemy. Grow up without the internet. When I was a little kid, there were no personal computers. No internet. No devices of any kind. Our TV had 3 channels with nothing of interest to kids on during the day. In the summers before I was a teen, we would spend the entirety of each day running around outside. From dawn until dusk, with a brief break for lunch, we were outside roaming for miles. Riding bikes. Exploring old tunnels. Trawling the shores of the nearby river. Building forts in the woods and battling other kids' forts with fireworks or mud balls or rocks or whatever. Going to the local library. Begging for candy from the elderly neighborhood candy lady while avoiding her creepy older son. Playing games with the neighborhood kids, Ghost in the Graveyard, Freeze Tag, Football, Baseball, etc. Hitting the community swimming pool. Basically roaming constantly over what had to have been a solid 5 square mile area. Mind you, we did this at the age of 8 or so. I think now parents would be arrested if they let their kids roam like this. Back then in the 1970s, no one even gave it a second thought.